Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Tom Spark and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be checking out why you perhaps should be using a smaller VPN service. Now guys, in terms of VPNs, there are many different VPNs from different sizes. There are extremely small VPNs, there are extremely big VPNs, and a lot of people gravitate towards bigger VPNs. Chances are they are doing this because they saw some kind of ad on YouTube, sometimes even on TV. They just got to see this VPN because of some ad, most likely. Not only that, but most of the bigger VPNs have like exclusive deals with most of the review sites like CNET, PCMag, IGN, all these big review sites mostly just kind of pick advertisers. They don't really do like real reviews necessarily, so you'll see most of the same VPNs that are paying them a lot of money topping their review rankings. How do I know that? Well, there have been some websites exclusively purchased by VPNs, and you can see that once this happens, they just replace the rankings. And in fact, a lot of companies that own VPNs actually own review websites. That's actually becoming common too, which is kind of funny. So yeah, the industry itself, you can't really trust most review sites. You can't really trust rankings because most of the times the people who are making the rankings are just corporate entities who want to make a lot of money. And they make millions of dollars recommending some of these huge VPN providers that have huge marketing budgets. So today we're going to be maybe perhaps thinking about why using a smaller VPN is a better choice for you as a end consumer, not as some kind of business entity. So guys, if we check out this Google trend right here that I went ahead and made, you can see that here is a list of some of my top VPNs: TorGuard, WeVPN, and Cactus VPN, and two of the biggest VPNs out there, something like ExpressVPN and NordVPN. These are the biggest VPNs out there. And you know, what is the difference between some of these services, and why should you perhaps use my tier 1 options that are smaller instead of some of the bigger boys out there? Now guys, if you want to use these big VPN providers, then by all means do so. This is just kind of like my opinion about, you know, some of the pros of having and using a smaller VPN company. I'm not trying to trash talk these other big companies. These are just my opinions. You know, number one reason, you know, why smaller VPN providers, or maybe some of the VPNs in my tier 1 are better, is that most of the time, in fact 100% of the time, they're just cheaper. If you look at TorGuard's price, if you look at WeVPN's price, if you look at Cactus VPN's price, they're all cheaper for the 1 month plan than Nord or ExpressVPN and most other big VPN providers. Not only that, but they offer better deals yearly, 2-year and 3-year most of the time, and they offer, you know, these deals without having any exclusivity in pricing. You know, if you look at something like ExpressVPN, it's around $13 a month or $100 for a year. Controversially, TorGuard's streaming bundle, which is, you know, comparative to what ExpressVPN offers, is around $11 a month or $60 a year. And it does provide full streaming access. But that said, if you don't even need streaming access or the ability to unblock Netflix and stuff like that, TorGuard is even cheaper, around $5 a month or $30 a year. Both of these pricing plans can use the code Netflix and give you that plan all year long without any exclusivity or anything like that. So $5 a year compared to $13, and $30 a year compared to $100. It's about a third of the price and offers you you know, just as good, or if not better, speeds, excellent customer support, good torrent compatibility, and stuff like that. If we look at something like WeVPN, it's around $10 a month or so, and around $40 a year, which is much cheaper than Express and Nord as well. Cactus VPN is also extremely affordable. So the number one reason why you should use a small VPN is that they're just extremely cheap and affordable. Most of the time, this is because they're not spending a ton of money on advertising. They're not getting every YouTuber to talk about them, and those costs really do start adding up. It does get these big VPNs more users, but it also means that they have to make their products more expensive and use other kind of methods to recoup their costs. And that's what I'm going to be talking about is number 2. Big VPN providers use more marketing methods and advertiserial kind of methods that can be a little bit tricky for you as an end consumer. A lot of these big VPN providers out there use kind of like countdown clock timers on their website to encourage you to buy into a sale, when in fact the sale doesn't actually end when it says it does. This isn't really legal in a lot of places, I don't think, but depending on where the VPN is located, who really knows? Generally, if you're going to a VPN's website and looking at the current countdown clock timer or sale, what you can do is look at it in the web archive and see if the sale was on during a specific period. I know recently I got annoyed with Viper VPN doing this, CyberGhost doing this, so unfortunately it's popular with a lot of the popular VPNs, but none of my tier 1 VPNs or some of the smaller VPNs I like, TorGuard, WeVPN, Cactus VPN, Private VPN, none of them use any sketchy marketing methods like countdown clock timers or anything like that that will trick you into buying them quicker. Number 3, let's talk about speeds and stuff like that. You might think that buying the most popular VPN is automatically going to give you the best speeds, which in a lot of cases isn't true. That's because the more users you have, the more servers you need to give the same amount of speeds. If you're using a smaller VPN provider, they might have smaller amount of servers, but there's smaller people using them. It's all about how many people are using the servers, how much bandwidth is allocated, how much each server is loaded. And in my experience, VPNs like TorGuard and WeVPN have done exceedingly good jobs about nailing the speeds and users to server ratio almost to a perfect degree, especially for the price. Some of the bigger VPNs like NordVPN are actually very fast nowadays. WireGuard has definitely helped things. But that said, bigger VPN doesn't mean faster. Smaller VPN doesn't mean slower. It's more about a case-by-case individual VPN basis. Number 4, I generally find that smaller VPN companies are more open to feedback and more transparent with you as a company and more kind of outspoken about how the company functions. That's because bigger companies oftentimes have board of directors. They can't make quick changes to their websites and policies. Not only that, but there's a lot of miscommunication that happens in big companies, ending up in weird policies being enacted that might not be actually good for the company. Smaller VPN companies, in my experience, have been more easy to talk to for me. Take WeVPN, for example. They're a great company who's very responsive to feedback. They've implemented a ton of changes that I've suggested. Not only that, they've implemented other changes from other suggestions that you see all the time on the Discord. They let you ask them for more servers to implement, what you guys want. They have a Discord that's super friendly and responsive. They even talk to people there personally. And you don't see that from any of these big VPN companies like Express, Nord, CyberGhost, anything like that. So that's really cool. TorGuard itself, again, has a really excellent company who's super responsive to feedback. You can see them on the forums talking to people all the time, gathering feedback and stuff like that, implementing the changes. And that's the kind of thing I look for. Not only that, but if you look at something like Cactus VPN, they messaged me on Twitter asking me for feedback on how to improve their UI and what I meant when I criticized the UI in my videos. And I made a video talking about that. Really cool company and just really transparent and friendly, more so than I've found with other big companies. That said, some of the big companies out there do have pretty good people working at them too. ExpressVPN has always been very friendly to me, and they do have a decent product. They even sent me a free router to kind of check out their service and how they have a good router application, which is very solid. So there's not always like big is bad, small is good. It kind of depends on the company by company basis, but generally as a rule of thumb, I've found that smaller companies are easier to talk to and a little bit more responsive to making feedback and changes. ExpressVPN has good people working there, but at the same time, the product has been very, a little bit stale in my opinion. It hasn't really changed that much or adapted some of my criticisms of their product. Probably because they're a bigger company and, they might not value that feedback as much because they're already so successful. Smaller companies have to grind and have to change, and they feel a little bit more hungry for improvement, which I like as a consumer and a reviewer as well. Number 5, I found that some of the smaller VPNs actually have better support than some of the bigger counterparts. Stuff like TorGuard, they will respond to you within minutes with a support ticket. WeVPN, they have a Discord where they're talking to people and interacting with customers. They also have live chat, really good customer support as well. Cactus VPN, it's exceedingly good for customer support. Always had good customer support ever since I first tested them. Private VPN, sometimes the CEO responds to your support tickets. They have a really kind of well-known support team as well. And, some of these other big VPN providers, they might have live chat or decent support, maybe respond in a day or so. But in my experience, the experience of these larger corporations can't compare to the nature of these smaller companies and how the support they give. And that's something that's kind of widely recognized in most tech and industries itself. There's always been like this kind of cliche that these smaller companies give you a better hands-on experience with customer support. And I think that's true for VPN and as well as for other industries as well. So I definitely think better customer support is more common, at least more friendly and more personable with smaller VPN companies. Anyways, guys, that's just 5 reasons why I prefer smaller VPN companies and why I think in general they are better for most consumers. Of course, not every big VPN is bad or not a product you should use or anything like that. These are just my opinions and you might find them useful as well. Find my recommended VPNs on vpntierlist.com. I recommend you to choose a tier 1 VPN and use promo code ThomasSpark. That will work on most of these VPNs in terms of pricing. Anyways, guys, thanks for checking out this video and I'll see you again very soon.